This will be Mr. Beast's future challenge. The scene opens on a bus, and not just any bus, but a really comfortable one, taking a group of tourists who think they're headed to a dream villa. Jude, the lucky one of the group, won an online game and secured a trip to a paradise island for 6 people. Of course, he invited his best friend Andy, who brought along his wife Kate and his dad, as well as his new girlfriend Heather and his younger brother Henry. Sounds fun, right? Well, not really. Andy and Kate are on the brink of divorce because Andy couldn't keep his hands to himself. Kate is holding it together as best she can, and not even the promise of a dream vacation can ease the tension. At the villa, Heather is more interested in finding out if her boyfriend will get rich and start showering her with expensive gifts than in any fancy invitation from the hotel. Meanwhile, Kate is trying to cope with the tension on her own, refusing any sedatives, and asking Andy to help her trust him again. Ah, love. Now, fast forward to the next day. The women head to the pool while the guys have a chat. Andy thanks Jude for the amazing vacation but is puzzled by Henry's presence. Jude, being the good friend that he is, admits that his brother saved him from yet another gambling debt. The guys then meet with the villa's management and, surprise, there's another game on the table, this time for $20 million. It's all offline, nothing too serious, right? Just press a button, win some money, and move on. Andy's not buying it. He smells trouble, but Jude is so blinded by dollar signs that he doesn't care. Eventually, Andy agrees to give it a shot, but the next day, he starts having doubts. The hotel staff is acting strange, like snatching the glass out of Jude's hand, kind of strange. Despite the warning signs, they go to the game, where the rules are deceptively simple: press the red button, split the money, press the blue button, and it's game over for one of them. They argue, press the red buttons, and win. Easy, right? Except Jude convinces Andy to keep playing. This time, it's not just about money, it's about losing fingers. Lose a finger or an entire hand? This is where things really go off the rails. Jude, still laughing like a fool, betrays Andy by pressing the blue button, and bam, Andy loses a finger. Reality hits them as they realize this isn't just a game, it's a nightmare. The hostess calmly reminds them that they're too involved to quit now. In the next round, things escalate. Both press the red button, both lose a finger, and Jude, who was laughing before, is now screaming like a scared child. Andy, already numb from the pain, just stares at his injury. This whole scene screams us or them, where trusting anyone is a luxury no one can afford. Speaking of which, did you know the movie was inspired by real-life survival games, where participants had to choose between their own lives or someone else's? Yeah, it actually existed and was pretty bizarre, but unfortunately, I can't show the images here. Now, let's be honest. If I were in Andy's shoes, I would have walked away at the first suspiciously generous offer. $20 million for pressing a button? Yeah, right. But Jude? Poor guy couldn't see past the money, and now look where that got him. How about you? What would you do if you were Andy? Would you trust your friend or risk it alone? And speaking of trust, how would you handle the moral dilemmas? Is it justifiable to put someone else's life at risk to save your own? Let's hear your thoughts. But back to the movie, Jude is trying to figure out why the blonde hostess is doing all this, but she, with a smile that's seen it all, assures him she's only interested in her paycheck. The show has many fans, and she can't disappoint them. It's time for the third round, and this time, it's more serious. It's not just fingers at stake, but the lives of the players' loved ones. Andy's father and Jude's brother are brought to the table as prizes. 2 red buttons will bring money to the players, but at the cost of their relatives' eyes. If both buttons are blue, the players become debtors, and the old man and little brother are eliminated. If the players make different choices, the blue player takes all the money and their relative goes free, while the red player is left with a huge debt and watches their relative get eliminated. Simple, right? Well, here, the dispute between Jude and Andy ends disastrously. Both press the blue button and lose everything, including their loved ones. With the drama escalating, the hostess gives the guys a break to breathe, not that it'll help much, and announces the next round, which manages to be even scarier. This time, Kate and Heather, the players' beloveds, are brought in as the new bets in this hellish game. The rules are the same: red buttons equal $5 million, but the women lose their tongues. Blue buttons equal goodbye to the women. Different choices equal money for the winner and suffering for the loser. Kate declares her love for her husband, promising to forget his cheating, while Heather, not wanting to be outdone, reveals she's pregnant with Jude's child. Of course, this doesn't faze the hostess, and the game goes on. Jude promises to press the red button but deceives his friend, presses the blue one, and keeps the money while Heather is taken away and Kate is eliminated. A hidden camera in an ancient statue captures everything, and the hostess, all excited, announces the start of the final round. At this point, I wouldn't have even started the game, to be honest. I would have grabbed the first cab and fled to Hawaii. Now, things get even crazier. Heather, who had already participated and escaped, is brought back. Jude, nervous, demands that his pregnant girlfriend be released, but of course, his words fall on deaf ears. The hostess reveals that Heather isn't just a bet but will have the chance to press the button. Andy realizes he doesn't stand a chance against the couple but decides to hear what the hostess has to say. In the final round, Andy and Jude become a team, but only Andy can press the button. If he presses the red button and Heather raises the red card, everyone survives, but they each lose an eye. If the colors don't match, the red players die, and the blue players get the money. If everyone chooses blue, everyone gets eliminated, and the money goes to the show's organizers. Jude begs Heather to trust him and raise the red card, assuring her they can deal with the injuries later. What I find interesting here is Jude's blind trust in someone who's been deceiving him from the start. If it were me, I would have made a deal with Andy to split the money and then take care of Heather. But in the end, Heather betrays Jude and raises the blue card, leaving Andy laughing at the situation. Jude finally realizes there was never a pregnancy, and Heather tricked everyone to save herself. In the end, the hostess thanks everyone for a wonderful game, and the players are eliminated under the watchful eyes of the spectators. The scene returns to where it all began, with Heather now in charge, asking the new players not to disappoint her. After all, her paycheck depends on the show. What would you do if you were in the protagonist's shoes? I'd love to hear your opinion. See you next time.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.